Hope you like it hot, gamers. Let's review Scoville. Check it out. In the game of Scoville, you are a harvester, and what you're doing is trying to harvest peppers, sell them, or make some recipes and make some money and get the most victory points at the end of the day. Every player comes with this little shield divider, and on the back it tells you what you start with. You got a few bonuses, one-time bonuses you can use. You have one of each of these colored peppers. You have this much money, your harvester, and your tracker. So how it's going to work is the board's going to be set up like this, and it says that we're supposed to randomly pick one of each color here and then shake that. Well, what we do is we just shake them up, and I'll just drop the first two that fall out. That's a red and a yellow. So I'd put them here right next to the star. So the game has a little player board here that tells you each round and what you're going to do. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to auction. And how we auction is, the high school here has morning and afternoon cards. And at first you're going to start with the morning cards and then switch to afternoon. I'll explain how that happens later. Now the board also indicates, depending on how many players, how many cards you'll set up. So in this example, we're going to play with 3 players, so I put out 3 cards here. Now as you see, this is something that we're all going to start bidding on using our coins. Now of course everyone's starting off with 10 coins. They can get more when they're selling peppers. So what's going to happen, it's going to be like a blind bid. Everyone's going to hold out their hand and then reveal. Whoever has the most coins will get to pick first, second coin second, and so on and so forth. So in this example I said blue won, yellow goes second, and red was stingy. He didn't bet anything. So in this draft, what would happen, let's say blue picked this one, yellow said why not, and blue got stuck with that. So what you would do with these cards, you put them over to the side. They're not to be used anymore. You would just use some over there. So now that we finished the auction phase, the next thing we need to do is start planting. Now everyone has to plant something, some kind of pepper on the board every round. And of course, as you see here, it gives you the planting orders going this way. So blue will plant first, then yellow, then red. So let's say that they all start planting, and blue says, I'm going to plant one here. It has to be next to a pepper. You can't plant one way out here. That won't help you. You got to put one by a pepper. And that next up is yellow, and they say this. I'm going to plant one right here. Oop, put that upside down. And then finally red goes, and they say I'm going to put one right, no, I'm going to put one right here. Okay? And that's how the board looks. So that's planning. Now if you have the expansion, Scoville Labs, it will give you extra cards for everything you see here. It'll give you another kind of player board cheat sheet. It also comes with extra supplies. But one of the cool things it comes with is this little laboratory. And this is optional in the game. But if you have the expansion, you may also choose to plant one in here. And I'll get to what this means later on. So after all the planting's done, we then go to the harvesting phase. And as you see on the board here, harvesting goes backwards. At harvesting, red will go first, yellow second, and blue last. So there's always an advantage to going first or last in the game. So red will go first. They start off here at the star, and he will take his turn. Now he can move 3 spaces, and the spaces are in between each one of these peppers, located by the little space provided. So let's say he went 1, 2, 3. Not very epic. He just crossed through these 2 peppers. Now, how you would determine what he would get, on the back of your player aid, it also tells you what happens when you cross and mix peppers. So I crossed a red and a blue, I would get a purple pepper. If let's say the next player's yellow, and yellow goes through here, and they go 1, 2, 3 maybe, they want to go over here, set themselves up for next turn. They pass 2 yellows. So I look yellow, yellow, I get 2 yellow peppers on my next turn. Well, on this turn I get it. And then blue goes last. They may not go through a player. That player would block them. They could go 1, 2, 3. So setting it up a little bit differently, let's say blue player goes 1, 2, 3. And let's say that's how the peppers looked. Well, he crossed through a red and a yellow, so he got an orange. And then also made it in between a red and a blue, so he also gets a purple. Now, the game comes with several different colors of peppers you can get. Also, if you run out, they have these little chick cards that counts 3 times, and as the game gets longer, you will be using these because there's just not enough peppers to go around, of course, at the end of the game. Now as for the labs, as the rounds go on and you keep putting more peppers, whenever you put a pepper next to another pepper, it will also breed whatever color that is, and you will look at your player A to see what pepper you got, and these are just for you. So if I had 3 peppers here and I put a pepper here, that would generate a pepper from this match and this match as well. So you'll slowly be gaining extra peppers in the game if you have the expansion. Now another thing to keep in mind is as you're gathering newer colors of peppers, on the next round you can actually get victory points by being the first to plant them. So for instance, you saw some of us had purple, orange, green peppers. If you're the first one to plant one, you're going to get victory points of 2. And they have them for brown, white, black, and the ghost pepper, which is a clear pepper. Planting the first one gets you 12 victory points. The second one gets you 8, and the third one gets you nothing because there's no more shields left. So this is just another way to get victory points by planting peppers. After the harvesting phase, we're going to go to fulfillment. Now in this one, you're going to go back to turn order. If you look at fulfillment, the arrow is pointing this way, so now it goes back to blue, yellow, and red. The only time red would have gone first was during harvesting. So whoever goes last, first on harvesting will go last on everything else. So now we're back to fulfillment, and in fulfillment they have a couple of options. First off, you have these crates here. These are the good people of Scoville, and they want to buy your peppers, and they'll give you stuff in return. And it could be things like, if you give me 3 blue, I'm going to give you 2 purple, 2 monies, and a victory point. Or sometimes it's just pepper and a money. Or sometimes it's just money because all they want is an orange pepper. And all these are different. And sometimes they give you bonus moves and whatnot. So they have just different ones in the deck, and you're going to deal out as many as you have players. And the player board here will tell you how many you deal out. Now this will also signal, this is the morning crate, this is the afternoon crate, but this will also help signal when you're going to move to the afternoon. Because if ever the crates get lower, then there are players. So for instance, if I get down to 2 crates after a turn, then that means it switches to the afternoon, and then we'll start using afternoon auction cards. And when you get down to the afternoon crates and there's less crates than there are players in the game, that is when the game ends. Now another thing you can get on top of just selling your peppers, you can also look at these recipes and make different kind of hot sauces. So here's one called Chuck's Breakfast. Here's another one, a little bit harder to do, but it's the 80K burner. Woo, we're 22, but it costs a lot of peppers there. There's Apple Lamps and Jade's Rusted Heat. Chili Chili Bang Bang. A lot of these have really hilarious sayings to them. But as you see, some of the easier ones are lower points, some of the harder ones to fulfill are harder. But you'll put out X amount of recipes as there are players. Again, the player board over here will tell you how many recipes you'll fill out. Same rules apply for the market over here. If you have less recipes than you do players, that will signal the afternoon, or if it's already in the afternoon, the end of the round. Now, as I said, there are 3 little tokens you're going to get at the beginning of the game, and these tokens give you extra moves. They'll let you plant an extra pepper during the planting phase if there's 2 peppers you want to plant, double back, or move an extra step. This lets you move 4 instead of 3. Doubling back is you would get to go 1, 2, 3 maybe. If I want to get 2 peppers, so 1, 2, 3, I could do that. In the regular game, you can only go straight in one direction, but if you had the double back, you could do that. Now, once one of the afternoon cards become less than the number of players you have on the field, that signals the end of the game. You'll then count up all your victory points, and you can cash in 3 coin for an additional 1 victory point. At the end, the winner with the most victory points wins Scoville. Final thoughts, what do I think about the game? Well, honestly, I love hot peppers. I love hot sauce. I love hot chili. And when I saw this theme, I was like, I gotta have it. This is all me. The only takeaway from this, the only con, I would say, from Scoville is trying to learn what color peppers generate what. That kind of slowed down the game for us the first few times, first few rounds we played. After a while, we got used to it. As we play it, we get more and more used to what peppers generate what different colors. And so the more you play it, the more you will grow into liking it, and you won't even need that color chart. We're not there yet, and when we introduce a new player, it gets kind of confusing for them to look at the chart. Now, Scoville Labs also gives you another chart. It's a little bit easier to read for some people. For me, I'm used to the old one, but one of my gaming group, he likes using that one because he says it's easier with him. Scoville is super fun. Picking those peppers, making sure you get the right moves. You think you will never use those 3 little bonus clips. You say, oh no, I'm going to hold on to my little bonus tokens and keep them for the 16 points. No man, you'll be using them. I've sacrificed 2 at least every game. I always need them or feel like I need them. You need to watch it though, because planting a bunch of the regular red, yellow, and blue peppers, we took that for granted when we first played the game, and then red, yellow, and blue got really rare in the afternoon because we didn't plant enough to give us more of those. So we made a little mistake by doing that, and we learned from our mistake the next time we played. Do you need Scoville labs to enjoy this game? My answer would be no. You can play it fine without it. It is wonderful for all the extra cards, all the extra tokens, and all the extra stuff they give you. The little lab thing is cool. I like it because it gives you more peppers to make more of the chilies. I would not be able to make a lot more chilies if it wasn't for the little lab. So buy the base game first, see if you like it, and then after that, the mini expansion, you decide if it's worth it for you. But as Scoville goes, the game, yes, very good. Check it out. All right, gamers, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on.